Welcome back to the KSL. It's been a long day of games, but I think they've really delivered today.
Has it been a long day of games comparing it to last day?
Yesterday was actually quite a long day. We've got, 6-7 hours of Brood War a day here this season of KSL because we're doing 4 best of 5s. That means each day we advance one player and eliminate one player and then save one player for later for the final decider games, which will happen, after all of the group stages.
You okay?
Ugh, I think I'm going to make it. Anyway, we're on to our final best of 5 of the night, and I think what's so exciting about this one is because we've got Rain versus Sacsri, right? This is a PvZ, and Rain is the God mode player of the modern Brood War era right now. Nothing stopping this guy, but only one Zerg stands in his way, and this is actually really cool because they're ex-teammates.
Yeah, this is where my expertise in StarCraft 2 comes in.
Hit me with the stats, no regret.
I don't know the stats, but they were teammates back in maybe 2014, so 2016, 2015, somewhere around there. They were StarCraft 2 players, both of them. I think Rain was still the better player, even in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, I mean, Sacsri was still not bad. Like, he played in Europe, right?
Yeah.
And so, as a Korean player in Europe in 2013, 14, 15...
You were happy.
You're probably doing pretty well. This is the era where MC moved to Europe and did quite well, and Rain was very dominant in the European tournaments he played in for StarCraft 2. So these guys were both on the team My Insanity in StarCraft 2. They played together for a very long time. Then Rain transitioned from there to being a commentator for tournaments like the SSL, which was actually held in this exact arena. So Rain has actually come to this studio and been a commentator for StarCraft 2, and now he's back in the same studio, but he's playing in StarCraft 1. That's pretty remarkable.
Even the favorite for the tournament.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Very interesting.
So Sacsri, the last time these guys played against each other was in the grand finals of Home Story Cup 10 in 2015, and now they're back at it again.
Was that the last time they've ever played? Or is that just in StarCraft 2?
Yeah, in StarCraft 2, right? And then they played, I think, one other time in an online...
I assume Rain took that?
Yeah, 4-2. But it was still close. I will say that going into this match, Sacsri will need to pull out any special builds he's got left. Now's the time, because Rain is looking monstrous. And even though it's a best of 5, maybe you take one game away, Rain's coming for you in those next ones, man.
Yeah. Well, this is Sacsri. Sacsri can come up with something, and he can pull out some builds, and he can possibly take some maps.
Hey,
but
lurkers
really
running
hard.
up ramps is a good strategy to have, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of down and dirty things both players can do to each other. But I will say right now where the current meta is, ZvP is really strong because there's this really potent build. It's called 9734. 973 refers to the number of drones that you get on your bases. And for a while, that was like a Hydra bust. But it's been kind of refined by this player, Queen, or Zero, who you'll get a chance to watch later on in the KSL. And now it's 9734, where you get a 4th hatchery on location and pump out the Hydras, but you're being economical behind it. And you can either just build 10 Hydras and run across the map and put a lot of pressure on. The goal is to cancel +1 weapons on the Forge, which is oftentimes really possible. But a lot of Protoss players have actually been building their Forge in their main and walling off with their Cybernetics core. And behind that, going up to 4 or 5 gateways, pumping Zealots, and then running the Zerg player over. So there's a lot of ways to deal with this. It's a really cool time right now for ZvP. But if you're just on the ladder and you're not Rain, you're probably having a bad time as a Protoss right now.
Yeah, we'll have to see if... knowing that there's so much information on this build, I have to imagine Rain will come prepared. It's not like Rain's just going to die to a build order. So it'll have to be Sacsri kind of either playing it exceptionally or kind of modifying it himself.
Yeah. And
if he comes for a win or something like that.
And keep in mind, even though Hydras are very much so the meta, I guess you want to say, against Protoss, you can also go for very early pools. You can build mass links and then run by their cannons. Lots of different things that we could see today. It's going to be a good final series of the night. So it looks like we're ready to go into our players. This is Sacsri. And even though he has developed and transitioned from StarCraft 2 to StarCraft 1, just like Rain has, I will say Rain is probably the clear favorite for this match.
So weird watching Sacsri versus Rain.
Yeah, like
StarCraft 1.
5 years after they stopped playing in StarCraft 1, a different game.
Yeah.
And we're starting it off as we are wont to do on Eddie. So a nice 4-player map. I will say there's a lot of places to hide stuff here, and maybe some nice avenues for Zerg to run their links through the middle of the map. So let's find out what's going to happen as we get into game. we are. The map is Eddie, and in the upper right-hand corner in the blue is Protoss, is Bison, or Rain, as he is...
Bison?
Yeah, well, I guess
like the animal.
Not the animal, no. It's Bai is the clan. A lot of good players in Bai clan.
And Sun like the sun?
That's right. I think Rain is in Sashin clan, or not Saren. Saren clan right now.
Saren?
Yeah, I think I say Saren. It's like the gas, right? Either way, Sacsri is his red Zerg opponent. And so there's a player that almost qualified for this season of KSL. His name was Shine. He narrowly lost in the finals of his group. I want to say he lost to, was it 4GG? Somebody, I forget. But there's a player named Shine, and he is very famous because he is the Zerg build mastermind.
Also, for StarCraft 2 fans, he's the observer for GSL.
Yeah, which is really cool because he just does it all, right? Kind of like Rain. Anyway, there's this guy out there, and he's making the craziest Zerg builds you've ever seen. And when you watch him play, you never know what to expect. And I think that a little bit of that is true for Sacsri, whether he's copying the weird builds that Shine pulls out, or if he is you're just creating some creative builds on the fly. So all I'm trying to say is you don't know what you're going to expect this Sacsri, so you can expect Rain to play very safe.
Yeah, you're right. Especially if you consider yourself the better player. It's very rare that the better player does some greedy or like cuts corners. We were talking about this yesterday actually a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So we'll probably see Rain play a very standard game and get to a comfortable position where he feels like he can't lose against anybody even.
Now, one way that you can still play a comfortable position, but still get scouting and map pressure is by going for this forward gateway as part of the wall. It's gateway first, and that means you're going to be pumping out zealots, which in the early game are pretty good, you know? And it depends on how much he wants to commit to this, because every zealot you make is, slower other buildings, which in this case is going to be the Nexus. So you want to be able to expand while you feel safe and put on as much pressure as you need to feel safe.
It also gives you map control, and you can possibly pressure third bases.
Yep.
There's just a lot of utility out of it.
For sure.
It is kind of hard to pull off in the lower level, though.
Yeah, I mean, even if you go for like cannons at the lower level, which is like the super safe way to take a fast expansion, that can be a little bit too defensive. And maybe the Zerg out-expands you and gets a really big advantage that way. So,
I mean, the problem with it in the lower level is like the walls are so finicky, and Zerglings can just run by and kill you at any point in the game.
Yeah. So one of the things about Eddie is that both your main, or your natural and your third base are gas bases, and that's good for Zerg if you need a lot of gas. But it's also good for Zerg because you can take these three bases, and you remember that build I was telling you about, 9-7-3 and then 4 later on? Very, very powerful 3-hatch Hydra play is possible, and it looks like that's what we're going to see from Sacsri.
Nice. Well, I'm interested to see how it develops. I don't think the Zealot does that much, but it's kind of going uncontested. There's Zerglings in the eggs right now. They're popping.
Yep, and they're going to come out almost just in time. Nice drone drill to actually save that one. Takes out the probe. That's super crucial so the Zealot doesn't two-hit Zerglings.
But he's in the annoying position.
Yeah, I mean, ugh.
Those are basically invincible once they're behind the Zealot.
It's so crazy. Actually, he'll be able to get 2 on the backside, so that's a nice way to get
he's got 4 surround right now.
Wow.
That was really nice.
Yeah, how do you do that behind mineral lines?
I don't know, that's pretty rare.
Pretty remarkable. So to take that Zealot out with basically no losses, it's actually got to feel pretty good about himself.
Yeah, this does free up the links for map control too if he wants to utilize them, but
yeah,
we're just kind of chilling.
Really quick lair. There's a lair coming, so you don't need lair to build Hydras, okay?
That's true.
So a lot of times for these early Hydra bust builds, you would want to go for, you want to skip the lair, just get the Hydras out really fast. So with the lair, that tells me this is going to be either a mutaplay or some way of teching up a little bit further. And I guess you do need to maybe get later upgrades, especially if you want to play like a lurker style eventually, you're thinking about more. So let's actually just keep an eye on this and see what's going on.
I like it a lot after killing the probe, or the Zealot too. Like basically freeing up the ability to tech and do whatever you want. I mean, tech only really sucks when it gets scouted fully. It hasn't been yet.
Speaking of scouting fully, Rain did get a lot of good scouting information from the main, and he gets back in with his probe. But more importantly, he forced and saw 6 lings be produced, which is early on. Zerg is trying to cut every ling they can. A lot of times you can get away with 2 these days. But having 6 lings, that's 2 extra drones the Zerg player doesn't have, and it actually really hurts the Zerg economy early on.
Yeah, but it does prevent all scouting, generally. Like, oh, besides the third base. But like, your point is the probe is not getting in the main base, which is a big tell, especially if you want to go for a quick lair.
I mean, look, you see 3 drones here. There's only one build you're thinking about.
Oh, it could be a Hydra Bust, right?
I mean, the Hydra Bust is the build that you would be thinking about.
Right.
This is not looking exactly like the way I would expect that to happen. Obviously, it's being delayed quite a bit. So this is going to be maybe more standard.
Though Rain isn't skipping Stargate or anything. He's getting a Corsair, so he should be okay.
Well, see, the thing about the Hydra Bust build I was telling you about is that if you go Stargate against it, a lot of times you just lose because, you know, Corsairs are just not that good against Hydras.
Right.
So this is a style that says, look, I've sussed out what your build is, and I know that I'm safe against the Hydra Bust right now.
Yeah, he's playing safe against the Hydra Bust just in case. He's starting to build some cannons. He's getting a Templar Archive. I mean, he's just playing it safe.
Yeah, so
he still have the Stargate too, so he's kind of playing it safe against everything right now because he's not 100% sure what's going on.
And that's pretty much what we expected from Rain, right?
Yeah.
So from this position, we're going to see more of this 5-hatch Hydra play, which I think is much more meta, very standard, and it allows both players to, you know, double quotes play the game, right? They're all going to get their tech infrastructure, their army, everything that they need and want to build. It's all coming out. Protoss player gets scouting, which is such a valuable resource at this point.
Sees the Spire now, which is quite nice. He won't get kind of caught off guard or anything.
Well, he's got to watch out for that egg to pop into Scourge. That would be a little tragic. Because if you lose your first Corsair, you can definitely see a muted tech switch that is super scary.
He's not going to lose that Corsair, okay? This is Rain.
I mean, the Korean commentators got hyped because that egg could have hatched at any moment.
Korean commentators don't know who it is playing right now, okay?
Wait, what do you mean?
They don't know it's Rain.
I'm pretty sure they know.
You think Rain just idles a Corsair and loses it to the first 2 Scourge, and we're like, oh, okay, I guess the game's over.
Look, anything can happen when you believe, okay?
I mean, you gotta. It didn't happen, did it, Rapid?
No,
I'm just saying.
You're certainly right. No,
I'm just saying, Rapid.
Rain's not going to let that happen for sure. He has the cannons coming up, so he's good against the Scourge camping his Starport, or his Stargate. And he also, ooh, Scourge, you're really playing it a little risky there. Wow, he actually loses both Scourge. That's not ideal, but we are transitioning into that 5-hatch Hydra. So we're going to see the Hydras come out.
Yeah.
Hydras go across the map. Hydras get stormed and run back across the map. You know, you kind of know what this looks like if you've watched a little bit of Brood War. And if you haven't, then watch out, because this DT is a little bit of a surprise for sure.
Yeah, this is getting so many drones.
Wait, what?
4 drones went down. Totally worth.
How did he have all those lings there and the DT just runs in and kills 4 drones?
Funny thing is that you get a way to utilize the Templar Archives in the beginning if you're dealing with like mutas or something. Like, well, you can go storm and stuff, but like you're not worried about a Hydra Bust or anything, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of be annoying with a DT.
Well, almost no player does that because you just would never expect to get damage done there. So I love that Rain is just out there looking for any opportunity he has to get damage done. So that's the bonus round, right? And any little advantage you give Rain is one he doesn't need to beat you, right?
Yeah. That's true. That's very true. All right, so Corsair's going to come in here and see if they can find any Overlords. They're going to get 1.
Yeah, and this is actually a very important
one. Oh, it's actually 2.
And they were stacked, so they take splash damage, keep in mind. So they both pop almost instantly, and that opens the way for more DTs.
That's also really annoying. He's fully supply blocked. He has to rebuild Overlords.
Yeah, 90 out of, 57 out of 62. He's got some leeway, but you're right.
Only 2 cannons here. I don't know how many units. That's a bunch of Hydras, and it can be kind of scary, actually.
Yeah, the Hydra count's what's going to be scary here. 5 hatcheries is going to be pumping a lot.
Just a bunch of lings.
For sure. Actually, not enough lings to straight up fight the Zealots, because they do have +1 now, but it should be enough to say, well, probably don't push on the map right now.
Yeah, Rain's kind of scary. I mean, I don't know how you really deal with this if you're Sacsri.
Well, he's going to just delay it, slow it down, keep the Zealots as far away as possible. And you can even just do that by running the lings just around.
I mean, just look at Rain, though. He just, like, picks off things everywhere.
He's so good.
I don't know where the Overlords are hiding, but once they're found.
Well, neither does Rain. That's the good part.
Oh, there they are.
They do have Overlord speed, and that helps protect them. It helps to get them to the Hydras faster. And now that Rain sees that, he's like, okay, well, I'm probably just not going to get that much done here.
I'm just waiting for Rain to decide he wants to kill Sacsri, and then watch Rain kill Sacsri, you know?
I mean, that's so biased. I can't believe you'd say that. But no, this is going to be a transitionary moment right now. So Sacsri is finally morphed some lurkers. He's going to get a little bit of a catch there on there. But the lurkers are the big part of this play.
Yeah.
They are obviously very good against Zealots. And if you can get them into position in front of the Protoss Natural, that could be really scary.
Looks like he's going to get pushed back towards his net right now, like you were saying.
Yeah,
If these lurkers get up there, there's all these hydras. It could be really scary.
I mean, lurker contains are something no Protoss wants to deal with for sure. And with +1 range and speed all upgraded, these are very powerful hydras in massive numbers.
All the overlords are with the hydras. Wonder if there's possibility for drop.
That's always a nice follow-up if you can't bust the front. But first things first, we're trying. Oh no!
That's a big mistake.
How did he just catch them all out in the open? Those overlords riding a little dirty. They're all going to go down. This is a massive supply block.
Massive, yeah.
You're supposed to be powering 1 million hydras per second. But you can't build anything when you're 40 supply blocked. Oh my goodness. He's going to try to run in here, snipe a few cannons, but look at those storms.
Yeah, those are not how you want to do with your hydras.
How do you even, oh man, finding those overlords is every Protoss's dream. But look at how many hydras there are. But as many hydras, there's always more storm.
I don't know if 6 hydras or 7 hydras is worth these cannons.
Oh my goodness, taking out so many cannons. And eventually he'll be able to siege down that forge if he really wants to, but he just lost almost all of his hydras.
Did I say 6 or 7 hydras? I meant infinite hydras, Rapid.
Well, he's got more, obviously, but there's still more storm. He's got at least one. Oh my god, he's losing more overlords. What?
Well, the hydras are on the other side of the map, Rapid.
Well, say goodbye to ever being able to build units, Sacsri. He's just lost, was that 6 overlords?
Yeah, this is pretty scary. I mean, look at the supply. He's basically spending all of his money on overlords right now.
Well, obviously this is not going according to Keikaku for Sacsri. He's trying to contain a Protoss player that's killing him every time he pushes forward. Oh no. Oh, not like this. That's not the direction they're trying to move.
Nice pick up on the observer.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he needed. The push, or the contain is going to hold because of that observer pickoff, but it keeps costing more and more and more hydras.
Yeah, I feel like this is slowly getting worse and worse.
Yeah, keep in mind, the reason we're talking about this getting worse for Sacsri is because he's not expanding at all. He has to keep this pressure up and actually even start to get damage done here, because if he doesn't, the Protoss player will build up and keep getting all that storm energy, and when he busts out, it's not going to be fun for Sacsri.
Oh, whoa.
Wait, whoa.
That was a big misrally.
Yeah, he lost 2 Corsairs for free, and now he's down to 3, so gotta keep it careful.
I mean, if you attack into Lurkers and Hydras, I don't know what you can ask for Sacsri, but this is...
He's going to be relying on Storm and protecting that observer. Oh, he's going to pick off the Observer. That's huge. Can't deal with the Lurkers in the back and has to run back to his natural.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, this is still really, really scary. But it's actually doing a little bit more than I thought it would, considering all those overlords died. Okay, here it comes to the true breakout. I don't see how you stop this. Beautiful storms go down. Only 1 Lurker remaining. All the overlords are going to die. If these Corsairs go uncontested, I think you need to focus them down.
I think just everything is going to die here. You can't even stop to kill the Corsairs because everything else on the ground will just kill all your Hydras. So he's going to try to save the overlords.
The Corsair's going to die.
And in the process, he will lose everything.
There you go.
Oh, wow, he actually picked off the last Corsair.
Yeah, he has to, because these overlords will die if he doesn't. But they're probably already going to die anyway, so...
I mean, we're on like 6 hatcheries for Sacsri. He should be able to produce a lot of units, but he just has no economy. And he might not even be able to build those units because he has no overlords.
I'd be amazed if Sacsri actually defends this push. I mean, basically it's just Hydras versus Storms, upgraded Zealots and Dragoons, rather.
Yeah, this is looking very dire straits for Sacsri. He can't even build more units. Oh my goodness, this is...
Yeah, this should be it in theory.
Yep, let's see how good the storms are. If you can land a few good ones, then obviously you're
retreating. He's giving Sacsri a bit of a hope.
Oh, he's going to lose that High Templar if he's not careful. Throws out a Panic Storm, but it doesn't even catch that many Hydras.
Oh, the Templar. I mean, I'm actually surprised that this got pushed back at all.
I mean, like I said, 6 hatcheries is a lot of Hydras, and just Dragoons, not going to fight too well against that. They take full damage to shields, and the DPS from Hydras is pretty real.
Yeah, just wait for the Templar and everything to kind of regroup, though. I think it's still really, really hard for him to actually defend this.
Yeah, Rain should have been reproducing a bunch of High Templar back at home. And yeah, there they are. So if you are playing like the meta way, Sacsri should be switching into Mutas right about now, because their job is to snipe the High Templar and stop them from being able to kill the massive amounts of Hydras. But that's a lot to ask when you're on 3 bases and starting to run dry in your main.
Right. I mean... I'll be amazed if Rain just doesn't counter and win the game, honestly. The supply counts are huge. I mean, he's taking his 3rd base. He's got the Storm. He's got a better tech. He's got a better army composition.
He's like doubling him in supply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, Sacsri's actually being aggressive.
I mean, you have to be. The second you let up the pressure is the second you basically give up the game. So some storms go off, but look at how much this Protoss
This is
army
actually one of the worst
Hydras.
fights you could take. Like half the units are just kind of stuck, but it doesn't really matter. These storms are incredible. This is just too much rain. I mean, look at this army. Look at this flank. This is some serious Protoss.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a flank when Protoss is just everywhere at every time.
He's not even chasing these Hydras, he doesn't even care.
Oh no, yeah, he just goes back home and builds bases and techs on up. I mean, Rain will max out here in the near future, so Sacsri has got to be thinking, well, do I just...
I kind of wish Rain would just go kill him. like to some extent, I don't see how it's possible to defend this. 172 to 80 supply. That's the supply count.
I mean, the Zerg is always going to be down in supply, at least for the most part, unless something goes tragically wrong, but not by this much. And especially if you can catch these lurkers morphing. I mean, they will finish morphing and burrow. That's a lot of lurkers. Let's see if these storms can take them out.
Oh, the observer.
Yeah,
he's the overlord though.
Yeah. So there is an opportunity here for Sacsri to get some value.
Zealot run by.
But the Zealot run by in the back is still getting that damage done. And because the Observer survives, he will be able to storm through these lurkers. GG, Sacsri taps out in Rain. Takes game number 1.
Yeah, very dominant fashion too. I think Sacsri went into it with a plan and it just kind of fell apart.
Well, the build that Sacsri did was actually super standard, and I feel like it doesn't hit fast enough to stop Rain from being able to prepare for it.
Yeah, I mean, Rain just kind of played a Rain. He didn't really do anything different.
Well, I would say the main weakness of Sacsri's build is that it required him to build units, and you can't really do that when you have no Overlords. So
that's true, Rapid. You do need Overlords to build units.
Yeah, really sloppy on that Overlord caretaking. The Overlord kindergarten kind of had the parents AFK, not supervising.
Yeah, that was quite a big mistake, I think. I'm not sure why the Overlords were kind of all separated, because it felt like he was doing a pretty good job of maintaining the Overlords over top of the Hydras.
Yeah, you're supposed to keep them together, right? That's the idea. And even with Overlord speed, they couldn't outrun 5+1 Corsairs. Rain looking solid. And for Sacsri fans out there, well, it's going to be a rough one. The good news is that Sacsri is not eliminated if he loses this series. He will go on to our decider match, which will be played in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But for Rain fans, you're probably...
scary for Sacsri, though, if he goes down, right? Playing against Best?
For sure. I mean, that's not a matchup anybody wants to play, but look, you've got Rain ahead of you, so you're starting to look and see who's behind you. Looks like we are about ready to go into our next game. It's going to be on Neo Silphid, so let's get into it. Here we are. The map is Neo Silphid, and in the 12 o'clock location in the blue is our Protoss player Rain. In the bottom right, in the red, the Zerg is Sacsri.
Yeah, okay. So, what does Sacsri do? That's the question. How do we defeat one of the best Protoss players in the world?
How do you kill that which has no life?
How do you kill that cannot be killed?
It certainly seems that way. I mean, Best took a game off of Rain and then got bopped back into the Stone Age. So, time to see what Sacsri can do. There's a lot of cool creative things you can do as Zerg here. So you've got like some early Hydra play. You can go for like Zergling busts if he goes for like a Forge fast expand. Chances are we're going to see another Gateway expand here for Rain, just because it does allow him to get out on the map. Pylon Scout. We'll see if he scouts correctly off of that. Oh, he's actually going to wait for it. Okay.
Interesting, yeah.
So it's a trade-off. Either you get the faster scout, so you get more information quickly, or you wait, build the gateway.
Send a second probe.
Yeah, and then you can send a second probe, but obviously you don't want to hurt your mining time just by the build that you decide to do. So scouts after gateway, and if you're too
I wonder
slow,
if he's going to look for the Overlord.
I mean, you can do that if you expect your opponent to be one place or another, but I think you just scout the base. It's almost just as fast.
Sure. Because
you have process of elimination, right? If you scout one base, he's in the other one.
Right. No, I was just wondering if there was like a timing where like if you just built that gateway. Like maybe it like times out for seeing the Overlord or something, but it doesn't look like that.
No, I think the biggest thing about scouting incorrectly on a 3-player map is not only do you know where your opponent is, but you also have the ability to come in at a time where he's already had to commit to something, right?
Sure.
I mean, maybe you also miss blocking the hatchery if that's your thing, but
you also die to a 4-pool, but you know.
Yes, you are correct.
Unless you're Rain.
Well, thankfully we haven't seen a 4-pool yet in KSL.
That would be a proper meme if Sacsri just 4 pools or something.
Yeah, a 4-pool is basically the most aggressive build you can do, and it's super ultra all in. But we haven't seen that yet. So in the meantime, what is Rain going to see with this first Zealot across the map? Well, spawning pool not being built super early, so that should take a load off of his shoulders. And it might reveal that he wants to put on more pressure, especially depending on how many Zealots he decides to set across the map.
Decided to take the other base, the mineral-only base. Looked like he wanted to take the mineral gas base, but then he decided otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, how much gas do you really need early on, right? The answer is lots of it, but you've got 2 geysers, and especially if you're taking both of those, it really does delay the amount of attacking units you can build just immediately. That might send Rain into panic mode super early, you know?
Yeah, so these eggs are going to have a bunch of Zerglings in them rapid. That's my call. Oh, he actually gets a drone.
Wow, that's not supposed to happen. He's trying to drill them away. At this point, these drones are running so scared. Watch him just magically focus the right one in the stack. I don't know how he does it. And actually,
if it was StarCraft 2, maybe. But not really a thing in this game.
If you're careful, you could actually attack through the minerals or through a couple of units.
Oh, there's a second Zealot here.
Yeah, second Zealot's really going to be powerful.
Really nice control.
And he actually runs and gets a second drone. Oh my god, this is terrible. If he gets a third drone, that's tragic. That is...
He doesn't quite get it.
I mean, it's not game over, man, but it's pretty close.
This is when we just get metabolic boost to just go.
I mean, look, losing 2 drones early is catastrophic for a Zerg player. You just do not have a lot of economy as Zerg.
This is a pretty bad spot for Zerglings to fight.
Yeah, one at a time.
Just like the movie 300.
We will fight in the shade of the minerals.
Oh, he's going to get every single one.
Oh, no. This is so painful to watch. He's actually just going to go kill this Zergling. Well, Rain is absolutely in a dominant position here.
Imagine beating one of the best Zerg players with just Zealots.
Look, it's not the first time that's happened for sure. Well, so Rain not only got scouting information, he has more. I mean, look, you deal that much damage with just a couple Zealots. You killed that many Zerglings with just 1. You know that Zergling count is low, and you can actually, hear me out here, you can kill drones by forcing Zerglings, because every Zergling could have been a drone if you hadn't put the pressure on.
That's true.
It's opportunity cost. Having to pull drones just to fight here. Look at that.
Look at
oh
this
my god. Rain,
oh my god.
Give him a break of that Kit Kat bar. It's too much, and now there's nothing but drones left over. He's winning the game with 1 gateway, no regret.
Should have just built 2 gateways, honestly.
Honestly, look, Zealots are just that good, and he sneaks one into the main. It's got 1 HP. If this thing kills a drone, I will be incensed.
Has full scouting. Oh my god. Full scouting. I mean, drones are transferring from the natural. Oh, he got another drone there. And now he's leaving.
Oh my goodness. To be fair, Sacsri only has
and a Citadel's
4
on the way. Oh no.
Look, yeah, at this point you do whatever you want. You're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, he's not even getting a Stargate. He's skipping Corsairs.
I think at this point you probably don't have to worry too much about Corsairs because you don't need to defend the DT. You can just kill everything with it.
Well, you also just don't need to worry about mutas. There's no drones or anything.
Yeah, for sure.
You might as well just go Zealot to kill him.
I mean, Sacsri is desperate to build even just Zerglings because he's having to pump so many Zerglings that he hasn't built a drone in a million years.
That Zealot just pushed the injured one to survive. That was messed up.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Don't shove. Practice good Zealot etiquette. Look at that micro. He's saving that Zealot for so long, gets it into the best possible location. And I think
maybe one Zealot gonna kill all of them?
Look, I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Oh my, disgusting.
5 kills.
Come on.
He's just been building Zealots out of his 1 gateway. Look at, there's another Zealot in the mirror line. This is embarrassing, okay?
He is styling on him a little bit.
Yeah.
This is 1 gateway, keep in mind.
Imagine if this was actually like a 2-gate or something.
That Zealot has 5 kills, and there's another one in the natural. Okay, well that. Oh, nice drone. I don't know if that drone drill was intentional, but he also got another drone in the main, by the way.
Nice.
Oh
and another one
my
in the
god.
net. I wish we had a drones killed count here.
Dude, if you could trade a Zealot for a drone over and over and over again, every Protoss player in the world would do that. The problem is, like, you just can't most of the time because either they get a sunken or they take out your first few.
Is he sending more Zealots across the map?
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Although it looks pretty broke to me.
He's starting to build a sunken for the Zealots.
Look, that's what I was saying. At some point, you realize it's just coming. And he's pumping at him way more gateways now.
Double
so
Stargate.
It just gets scarier and scarier. And I guarantee you, you build Zerglings to defend against the Zealots, that double Stargate kicks in. You're never building another unit again.
Double Stargate. Wow. What a game. This is a Protossy game if I've ever seen one.
This is so crazy.
Oh my God.
I love that we're getting a chance to witness what
Look at these Zealot legs. It's done.
What it is to watch a player that is truly great. Rain is absolutely one of the best of all time, and he is showing exactly what it looks like when you have that skill mismatch. Getting in here, sunken, doesn't matter. He can absolutely overrun those drones.
He needs 2 sunkens at his third base to deal with the Zealots from the beginning of the game, basically.
I can't believe how effective this is. It's just mass Zealots into double Stargate. And just wait until 5 Corsairs, 6 Corsairs run across the map and kill every Overlord.
Every single Overlord, yeah.
There's nothing that can shoot up from the Zerg player.
I'm amazed he's taking this fight.
I mean,
it's a pretty confident fight.
Yeah. I mean, this is a bad decision, just straight up. But it means so much to Rain.
Is it a bad decision, though?
It's just so much pressure. Actually, I'm so surprised he's doing so well here.
These Zealots are Rain Zealots, okay? Normal Zealots? Yeah,
oh
that's a terrible
goodness.
decision. I think he only lost a couple Zealots.
Okay, well.
And there's Zealots in the main.
I'm pretty sure the game is actually over at this point. We're watching Sacsri in zombie mode. He's dead, but he's still alive. So, wait a second. How many units? Like, so
Rain literally killed him with the starting unit in the game. Over and over and over again.
So
he had double Stargate that he didn't use Rapid.
So teach me how to. So if I want to do that build as Rain, what do? I build Zealots and then.
And then you press A.
Well, then I draw the rest of the owl. You're right. You press A and you click your opponent's base, and then question mark, profit.
I actually have no idea, like, what Sacsri even did wrong. You know?
Should we ban Rain from ever being able to make any units?
Like, Sacsri had a ton of Zerglings, he just didn't kill the Zealots.
Oh my god. Okay, that's just how good. And look at the look on Sacsri's face. You gotta be a little frustrated.
I mean, I would be crushed
like
if I was Sacsri. Like, why am I even playing this game anymore? You know what? I'm going back to StarCraft 2. That's what I would do.
Well, we gotta take a quick little breatherino here while Sacsri rethinks his career choices. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the exciting conclusion of our final best of 5 of the night, Sacsri versus Rain. Welcome back to the KSL. I'm Rapid with no regret, and we're about to finish up our final series of the night, Rain versus Sacsri. And how would you characterize the way the games are going so far, no regret?
I need one of those, like, hammers, you know, from the Korean shows.
Where, yeah, like the big,
like the squeaky ones,
the comical Acme
people?
hammers. Yeah. Like the ones they used to do for 10 questions, 10 answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now.
Rain is picking up the field mice and bopping them on the head. Like, he is absolutely so dominant. He won the last game, and this is an accurate statement, with only Zealots. And it's like, you know, he's got this notebook, and it's full of, like, the special Protoss achievements. And there's the rare one, you know, that gives you all the achievement points down at the bottom. It's win game with only Zealots. So he's like, okay, I guess. I got to go for it.
He never intended to win the game with those Zealots.
Oh, of course not. But he got so much damage.
Just
he's like,
them.
wait a second.
Yeah.
I can just kill him. So, and he was prepared to do a bunch of other stuff. He was prepared to, like, expand. Double Stargate Corsair was about to come out and kill every
Overlord.
Overlord.
He actually had a game plan.
Yeah.
That was not the plan. That was not the game plan.
I feel like he just wanted Sacsri to, like, fight back and hold on so he could do the rest of the stuff. But, you know, we kind of never got there.
Yeah, we didn't. It's very unfortunate.
Well, now that means that we have game number 3 coming up, and if Sacsri's got something else, I mean, now's the time. So
I mean, he needs to pull it out. He's up against the ropes here.
I can't wait to see what Sacsri looks like, right? He's still a little frustrated, but hopefully he's had some time to cool down between those games.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty soul-crunching to lose to just Zealots like that. He's got to find a way to actually get into a comfort zone and be able to do something to Rain, because it seems pretty untouchable right now.
I think untouchable is a great word for Rain. Really, I mean, Best was able to scratch him just a little bit with that one game he kind of stole away. But I think Rain is probably one game away from taking the series. If I had to be honest, if Sacsri's got something left in the bank, let's see it. The map is Fighting Spirit, and in theory, it is the most standard map in the map pool, so Rain's got to feel very comfortable. But if Sacsri can turn things around, now's the time. So let's get into it.
In just a few moments.
That's right. Nice save. Thanks for coming in clutch, no regret.
Yeah, like you were saying, Fighting Spirit, one of the most standard maps in the map pool, so it's going to be really hard for him to pull out something that Rain has never seen, considering it's Rain.
If he has anything like that, now's the time. Here we are. The map is Fighting Spirit, and in the upper left-hand corner in the red is Sacsri, our Zerg player, and in the bottom left in blue as Protoss is Rain.
I don't even know what to expect. If I'm Rain, I think I just throw down 2 gateways. I mean, you can barely hold off my first gateway Zealot.
2-gate is a super solid opener if you know that you have like a better micro than your opponent, and if you really want to put on an insane amount of pressure. Because if you think one Zealot killing everything is scary, wait until there's a second one.
Yeah, I don't think he'll do it, but that would be crazy. I would love to see it, but I don't think he'll do it. I think he'll probably just play a very standard game.
Yeah, look, if you do go double gateway first, that is a big commitment. And if your opponent's able to magically hold it, then you're pretty behind. You've delayed your Nexus a lot. So it can be a little bit risky, but you know, I am at least confident that Rain would be able to get a lot of damage done with that. Maybe Rain is, the
Rain
bigger
is
brain.
definitely confident to do it too, but at the same time, why do it when you don't need to, right?
There's a lot of discipline that comes into moments like this, because you never want to be overconfident. Even if Rain thought he could kill him with just probes, no matter if that's true or not, probably, play the way you want to.
Decently early spawning pool, 9 pool.
Yeah, 9
I don't
pool.
think he wants to deal with the Zealots anymore.
Well, I mean, overpool is kind of the way, especially if you want to really, really give yourself the best chance.
It's a forge.
Yeah, so this is like the polar opposite. And unless he's cannon rushing, which is probably unlikely, this is a very defensive opener from Rain.
I mean, yeah, but look at the 2 probes. Like, he's either the most defensive Protoss ever, or he's looking like he wants to cannon rush. Because there's 2 probes on the map, right?
I mean, look, how do you one-up yourself from winning the game with Zealots? Well, you win the game with probes.
Buildings?
Yeah, or just buildings. He gets into the main. So, if there are dark spots in your main, go check them, because survey says there may be a pylon building there. In reality, it's not going to be a cannon rush.
Yeah, he's
it's
just playing the
scouting.
safest of safe with the double scout and a cannon.
No, this is extremely safe. Maybe there's the potential that he memes on him, but I don't think Rain is that kind of player. I think he is absolutely the stay back, play safe, and this is the best way to do it. He's going Forge and Cannon before Nexus.
Yeah, I mean, this is ultimate safe mode. I think he wants to just close the series out 3-0, considering he knows he's the better player. Just wants to play it safe and not just die to some weird stuff.
When I saw the second probe, I was excited like you were, but I was like, oh, instead of being crazily over-aggressive, he's actually just being intelligently
defensive.
Safe. Yeah. And now he not only has this wall at the front, he has a natural expansion coming up, cannons to defend, and he should actually just be super solid for the near future. On the other side, Sacsri does get the chance to do whatever he wants, because when you build that many defenses, you're not going anywhere. So let's see what that is. I would imagine it's some sort of 3 to 5 hatch Hydra play, but how do you try to play a standard game against Rain?
Especially after the last 2 games. I mean, it was pretty unfortunate games for Sacsri so far against Rain. Not to be unexpected, though.
Right. We kind of thought that this was the way that the game was going to go when we saw game number 1, and it was like, okay, well, this is just very standard play, and Rain was able to beat that. This time around, I mean, step 1 is don't lose all your overlords in the middle of the map for free to Corsairs. I think that was one of the real big setbacks to the 5 hatch Hydra play.
Yeah, certainly. That took a lot of the wind out of the sails. That's kind of a critical moment where you want to be producing all units, too, where you had to spend a lot of money on overlords, so that took out a ton of wind in the sail of the build. Really quick lair. Should be for a Spire. But it also could be for some memes.
Oh, yeah. Memes are maybe one of the ways Sacsri can come back in this. So let's talk about what's expected here. The probe just got killed off, and that's a big deal because that means that Rain does not know what the tech building is coming up next. So he either has to choose to play ultra super defensively or try to get out on the map and find out what's going on. So that's what these 2 Zealots are trying to do.
Yeah, they're also trying to end the game, though. Considering the last 2 Zealots basically ended the game.
Nice meme. Well, there are plenty of Zerglings out, and that's even
build
more
a
than
Sunken. That would be a nice meme.
That's what that Zerg or probe is trying.
I think that
drone
was thinking about building a Sunken because of how scary the Zealots were.
It's probably just a rally point, but no way he's gonna get that drone. No. Okay. All right. Sacsri is gonna micro his heart out against every individual Zealot. But let's keep an eye on the drone count because that's going to tell us a lot. If we see that 973 drone distribution, then it's an easy way to say, look, this is going to be a very aggressive Hydra push. And if he builds the 4th hatchery and gets 4 drones there, then that would tell us a lot more about what to expect. But hey, there's the 3, there's the 7, and there should be 9 in the main. So we are going to see a very aggressive 3 hatch Hydra play from Sacsri.
Yeah, although there is a lair as well.
Well, yeah, he's thinking about
there's some options with it.
Eventually moving forward. Yeah, you're right. The lair is the mystery meat in our sandwich here for our Zerg build. I don't know.
What if it's like lurkers?
Look, that's actually absolutely possible. He could do a lurker contain from this because you're right. The lair is what makes it not 973 the way you would expect it to be. But I don't know exactly what version Sacsri is going to do.
Yeah, I mean, Sacsri could also just be building the lair to throw off his opponent, but it doesn't seem like it's working. I mean, Rain's got a ton of cannons here.
A ton of cannons, right. I mean, cannons will defend you, but one way that you can play this is to push out with enough Hydras to force the Protoss to overreact, and then you just pull back and drone.
Yeah.
And
with the lair already completed, that is a possibility, actually.
For sure, absolutely. If we check the map, you can see that there's still Hydras being rallied across it, so we know that this is super all-in. And I think Rain actually knows that as well based on the number of Hydras. Right now, if you pull back, you've done double half measures instead of any full measure. And he's gonna try to go for it, run it forward, trying to snipe either the forge, the cannons, anything, but he can't get the Hydras in range of the cannons.
Look at this probe drill, is amazing.
That cannon concave, insane. So good.
He didn't even lose a probe there. Like, all the probes were up front against Hydras and
He didn't even lose the cannons. What?
Yeah.
I'm so confused at how much better everything Rain does is than everyone else. Like, how? Why? These are the mysteries of the universe nobody can answer. So epic hold there by Sacsri. Does this cancel +1? Or epic hold by Rain. Does Sacsri cancel +1 here?
I think he does.
I would need to select a Zealot at any point, but
I mean, it's either. It'd be kind of weird for him to do +2, but you know.
Canceling +1 is no joke, and that's why a lot of Protoss players put their, or maybe not a lot, but some Protoss players like Boneth, who's one of the best non-Korean players, will put the Forge in the main just to make
cancel +1.
Yeah, make sure to get that +1 because +1 speed Zealots are so good against Hydras, and not +1 slow Zealots are just not. So. That's kind of a nice one, but not able to bust through. And if you look at Sacsri, losing that Overlord means that he's at 37 out of 36 supply.
There's still some Overlords here that could be taken out as well. These Zealots going to push back the Hydras, and then he's going to kill the Overlord. That's my call right now. and that's happening right now. Look at that.
What do you know? Yeah, it can't kill the Corsairs if the Zealots are pushing the Hydras back. And so once again, Sacsri will struggle to be able to build any unit at all.
Yeah, this is so... Rain's just picking up everything he can.
Yeah.
Finds everything.
Trying to look at the minimap and see if there are any other Overlords out on the map, and it looks like the answer is no.
Not anymore.
But I don't think Rain's going to take no for an answer. He knows there's Overlords out there. He's coming for him.
Yeah, they might even go for the ones in the main. Those aren't even safe. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. Sorry, did you want to Overlord here? I'm sorry. That's not allowed anymore, sir. Well, I mean, the Overlords are still going to have a rough life, but Sacsri is stabilized, and I say that in double quotes.
This is actually so scary, these Zealots here.
I mean, at least they don't have +1, right?
Yes, that is true.
Trying desperately to block the ramp. There's like 7 Zealots here and less Hydras, so we all know how that's going to go.
No.
No missed chance for Zealot hits up the ramp, and so up the ramp they go.
Where these Zealots are in the third base.
There are Hydras here, so maybe eventually they'll be cleaned up. But look, he's just
gonna kill Overlords.
He's flooding Zealots everywhere, and like you said earlier, you can't kill the Corsairs if you're trying to micro against
Zealots. I guess if what's not broken, don't fix it, right?
Well, thankfully there are just quite a few Hydras off of like 6 hatcheries, so.
Yeah, but this is like the most efficient I've ever seen Zealots trading at this point in the game.
Well, hey,
9 minutes in, and there's like, it's not even a lot of Zealots, really.
I mean, if there's Hydras not here, or if there's Hydras somewhere else, they're not here. And so we're already seeing 1, 2, 3, gonna be 4 workers going down here soon. Oh.
I mean, Hydras are going down too, look. Oh, that Hydra doesn't go down. Ooh, this could catch him off guard.
It's a nice tech switch, and
Rain
if the Corsairs got picked off earlier
Did I say something was going to catch Rain off guard?
Well, so usually you see some Scourge out, and then you try to pick off the Corsair, blah, blah, blah. He just went straight into Mutas. And let me tell you how well 6 Mutas do against 6 Corsairs, Storm, and Cannons.
Wait, how well?
Nope. Yeah, that's a nope.
Oh my god.
That's a nope.
Look at this control.
Yeah, that moving shot is not easy to do, but absolutely trivial for a player of Rain's caliber. He bops the Mutas back to the Stone Age, and the answer, in response, is more Mutas. You know how you kill units that can shoot down? It's with units that can't shoot up. Zealots are basically invincible now to a small number of Mutas, and that means that Rain can run across the map and do whatever. Maybe the Mutas will pick them off, but I think he saves up, pulls out all the quarters from his piggy bank, and is about to spend that taking Sacsri out of this series 3-0.
I love that Mutas just kind of push them back, because the Zealots actually take no damage against Mutas.
I mean, we say they take no damage. The damage is so trivial. It's so low. If you can build up a control group of 11 Mutas, then absolutely, Zealots aren't going to do anything. But that's not where we're at right now.
Yeah. It just feels like the game is being controlled.
No, there is absolutely nothing Sacsri can do at this point. What he is doing is building a lot of Hydras and trying to catch Rain without the proper unit distribution. But Rain could get up, get a drink of water, come back, and still have enough units to deal with what Sacsri has right now. 119 supply for Rain, and it's all in stuff that kills Sacsri's stuff.
Rain actually makes Protoss look imba.
Oh, he does, of course. I mean, the same thing that Flash does for Terran. Any player that is truly transcendent will make their race look like...
Just kidding.
It does things it shouldn't be able to do.
I don't even know why I'm surprised anymore.
What, you thought something was going to die?
Yeah. It was almost like that one time you thought a Corsair was just going to die.
No, definitely not.
Scourge popping out of an egg.
Yeah, look at how good Rain's Corsair control is. Taking some hits, but never losing one. And making sure to keep the count alive. And this is going to be it. This is that Hanbang timing, that one big attack. Sacsri's got this and maybe not a whole lot else. And he's going to be doing it 30 supply down.
We saw how well this went last time, too. I'm not looking forward to this one. Though he was pretty good at picking observers off last game.
I mean, observers are super important. Hard to deal with lurkers, but you can't see them, right? But there are a bunch of cannons at the natural, so methinks the third is the attention point here for Sacsri.
I think the natural is.
Well, I mean, the
especially
third.
after these Mutas fly in.
Oh yeah, what do those Mutas think?
Well, the Mutas were like scouting and be like, can we attack here? And then they're dead, so no, we can't.
That is a pretty bad rally point for sure. So you're right. He is thinking about the natural, but it's
no,
come on. Well, I think we all know how this goes.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh my God.
He's trying to get into position here, but like I don't know how you break across this bridge.
119 out of 102. Good luck trying to build any more from here. 50 supply advantage, 40 supply. Let's be reasonable for Rain, and it's not stopping there.
Yeah, it looks like Sacsri isn't going to pull the trigger anytime soon, but I don't see how this gets better the longer the game goes on.
No, you are absolutely good. No, he's actually going to do it again. Okay, almost having those Overlords picked off. Wait, there's so many places that these Corsairs can really commit. Storm, plenty of time for a lot of that.
There's not enough lurkers here.
Not enough lurkers, not enough Hydras. The concave is real. The storms are amazing.
Yeah.
And Rain just has way too much.
Pretty sure this isn't even all of Rain's army.
Yeah, probably not. The storms, just look at how good the storms are. High Templar themselves, destroying everything in their path. GG, Sacsri taps out. And Rain will almost flawlessly advance on to the round of 8.
Yeah, absolutely crushing this group. I mean, the only person who actually had a chance in this group was Best, by the way we saw this play. And Best played a really good series, but still no real opposition to Rain.
For sure. And I think for Sacsri, maybe he feels bad about losing that one game against Zealots, but in reality...
Have you ever seen a gamer pack up faster than that?
He really has to get out of here. He's so afraid somebody will see him on the way and recognize him.
Yeah.
For Rain, I mean, this is a guy that has accolades everywhere he goes. He's a super successful streamer, caster, StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2 player, all-around badass. Oh, yeah. No, he's just got it all.
He just got everything, yeah.
Very, very impressive to watch Rain play here. And I don't think that you should expect any different once we get onto the round of 8. This is a gamer that you can follow everywhere he goes, and no matter where he is, he will be incredibly dominant. So I think it is actually just truly our privilege to be able to watch him play just the most incredible games. So.
Yeah, I wish we could see more of Flash versus Rain.
I mean, we got a chance to watch that. If you want to watch Flash play Rain, go back and watch the semifinals of ASL Season 8. Which is where those two titans of StarCraft met. And I'm not going to spoil it for you if you missed it. I would just say that what's so great about this revival, this resurgence in the modern era of StarCraft 1 with StarCraft Remastered coming out is that you can just watch the sickest players. ASL Season 5, we had a rematch of Flash versus Effort, the only player that has never lost a best of 5 to Flash. And this rematch is 8 years old. We actually
got to cast that, you and I.
I know. That was just such an incredible game, an incredible series. And so are the series yet to come in KSL. So let's check up on our results from today's games. 3-1s across the board, except for our final game where Sacsri was pretty outmatched by Rain.
Yeah, 3-0ing Rain in the finals there. But we do have some matches from this group to be played out still.
That's right. The decider match for this group is going to be Best versus Sacsri, and that match will be played in 2 weeks. So the way that the schedule is going to work out overall is that we play 4 games from every group, and then we'll play 1 day of the decider games from all 4 groups, and that will give us our round of 8.
The day of eliminations.
That's right. It's going to be the last chance for any of our players left from the round of 16.
I really like that format of giving players a last chance to kind of practice and prep to not be eliminated. I think it's really cool.
And these are the players that have been watching all the games so far that will be playing in Group C next week. Sharp, one of the best Terran players out there right now. Snow, the best PvT player in the world. Sari, an up-and-coming Terran player, and it's our first time to see him in any Star League, I believe. And then Soma, by all accounts, the best Zerg player on the planet right now. Maybe some people are going to say Queen or Zero, but Soma is the truth. He is unreal good. He's got the builds, he's got the skills, and he's going to be bringing them to Group C next week. And it all starts at 1500 KST on Thursday.
So make sure you check it.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, if you are tuning in expecting StarCraft 2 to be on this channel, don't worry. We've got you covered because the WCS Global Finals happen live from the main arena at BlizzCon in about 5 hours from now. So give or take, those will be on and should be the best games of StarCraft you've seen StarCraft 2 that you've seen all year long. So
yeah, a little Zerg heavy, but you know what? I think that we can see some crazy things going on in the global finals. I mean, everyone's prepping for it.
It's actually just an incredible time to be a fan of StarCraft or RTS in general. So many good games, StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2. It's going to be the best day of your life if you like both of those. So
yeah, you can just stay up all night if you're watching us now. Just keep going.
Yeah, just stay up, go get some food,
It's only 5 or 6 more
back.
hours.
Plenty more StarCraft left to go. So, you know, it's been our absolute pleasure to be able to bring you these opening 2 groups of KSL while Tasteless and Artosis are away at WCS Global Finals. So if you missed them, just stick around. They'll be on stream in just a little bit for the StarCraft 2 Global Finals from WCS at BlizzCon. So,
yeah, and I believe next week they will be back as well. So if you missed them casting Brood War, they'll be back here too.
That's right. It's just great. There's so much StarCraft going around, and all of it just looks pretty good. Just like Rain looks. He's up on stage giving an interview right now. So
which means we have to kill time.
That's right. And we've got a lot of things to talk about because not only do we have more exciting...
Did you hear about Ghetto Plague, Ghetto Plague in StarCraft 2? No, wait. Ghetto Dark Swarm.
That's right.
It's like Dark Swarm, but it only does half. It lets you do half damage. It's great.
So coming from a StarCraft 1 background, I would say that Dark Swarm is pretty good. And then they made it essentially in StarCraft 2.
It's actually the worst thing ever.
But instead of blocking all damage, it only blocks half damage from air units. And I'm like...
That's quite interesting. I'm curious how it develops.
I feel like if you put that in Brood War, nobody would actually use it.
To be fair, if Dark Swarm was in StarCraft 2, it would actually be broken. But I'm not sure how it's going to play out.
We don't have to live in that reality. We have to live in this one. And I do believe it is about time to close things up here pretty soon. So, yeah, just a big thanks for tuning into KSL. And make sure to stick around for the Global Finals. And, yeah, it's been thanks. You can, of course, continue to follow the KSL on Twitter at, I think, Esports StarCraft tweets about all the games. If you're just interested in StarCraft esports in general, that's kind of the place to go. Also, make sure to follow the channel because this is the same one that will have all of the WCS Global Finals at BlizzCon, every episode of KSL, and there actually aren't that many. What did we decide? There's like 9?
8 or 9, yeah.
Yeah, 8 or 9 broadcasts for KSL this season, so we are really speedrunning this.
We are definitely speedrunning compared to the last formats. We had a lot of days back then.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of days but fewer games per day.
Right.
I think last season it was 2 best-of-5s per day, and this season it's 4 best-of-5s. So it's actually kind of crazy how many more games we're fitting in here. But I mean, we still have some of the best players out there playing Brood War right now, and I think you're starting to see that some of them are pretty darn good. So
especially Rain. By some of them, we mean
Rain. The best part about the rest of this tournament is that none of the other players playing have to worry about playing Rain, at least for a couple weeks. So we're going to put Rain in a cage and prevent him from playing StarCraft against any of the other competitors because they all have to survive. What if we make a tournament where everybody just plays Rain sequentially for the entire tournament and at the end he wins?
That would be crazy. That would be crazy. What if we had a King of the Hill where Rain was the only person?
I think after like 55 weeks, we'd start to get really bored of King of the Hill.
Yeah, that would be very disappointing, I think.
Rain is just that good. So a pleasure to watch his games today, and of course going to be very exciting to watch them later on in group.
Yeah, you got to watch out for him. I think he's definitely the favorite for the tournament right now.
Should be the favorite for the tournament, although that's what's going to be exciting about Groups C and D, is that when you watch them, you can be thinking, hey, does any of these players look good enough to do anything to Rain? And I think actually the answer should be yes. We've got great players like Sharp should be super up and coming. We've got Snow, who is absolutely capable of winning a Reaver-based PvP. Just like he was able to play in the previous season of ASL, it came right before this. You've got guys like Queen, or Zero, as he was more famously known. He's a super good Zerg player, and especially potent in ZvP, so watch out for that one. And yeah, just lots of really cool new players that are all going to bring something interesting. Even if they're not going to go all the way, it's going to be fun to watch. So on behalf of No Regret, and I thank you so much for watching Groups A and B of KSL this week. Stick around for the WCS Global Finals coming up. We'll see you next week.